All right, boys. It's match week 32, which means there's some FA Cup semifinals this weekend. So, yes, it's not only Premier League. So, I guess we got to talk about the FA Cup again.
Woo!
This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you listen from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League. This week has been four friends from who support different clubs. Our guest all week this week has been Jimmy. He supports Liverpool. That's Brad. He supports Chelsea. Down below, that's Sean. He supports Tottenham, and I'm James. I support Arsenal. Hello, everyone. How are we doing, Jimmy? Thank you so much for joining us this week. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a really long 3 days of recording.
Yeah, just nonstop sitting at your computer for 3 straight days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
it's been fun, though, guys. I really always enjoy coming on and talking to you guys for a while.
Those 23-hour production meetings really take a toll on you, but we got used to it, Jimmy. You'll get used to it too.
Yeah. We're just...
Well, I had to call in sick one day.
It's all right. We excuse that.
Yeah, Jack missed a baseball game.
Has he come looking for you yet?
The door's locked. I kind of packed in food for a few days, just whatever. I've got a couple of cups to pee in, but
okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you've got.
I thought you were using that. I thought you were using that basket over there.
That's for other things.
Other things.
Okay, that's for the other.
All right. Wow. Well,
off the rails. See how easy it goes off the rails, Jimmy?
Yeah.
This one's all his fault.
No, it's not. No, it's on me. It's on me.
Okay. All right. If you're new here, if you just stumbled across us, I promise we talk about football. We talk about soccer. But hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, drop a comment down below, join our Discord. It's in the descriptions. If you're on the podcast site, follow, 5-star, all those things, and then share this podcast with somebody who wants to hear about 4 buffoons peeing in cups, apparently. There you go.
Dookie and them baskets.
So match week 32 actually kicks off for you guys today. If you're catching this on the day of receipt, which would be Friday, April 20th, 21st, something like that. I think Friday is the 21st.
21st.
Yeah, Friday is the 21st. We've got Arsenal Southampton kicking off. And then Saturday morning kicks off Fulham Leeds, Brentford Villa, Crystal Palace Everton, Leicester Wolves, Liverpool Forest rounds out the Saturday. On Sunday, we've got Bournemouth versus West Ham United, and then United and Spurs. And then this is an FA Cup weekend, like I alluded to. So we've got Manchester City and Sheffield United from Wembley Stadium, and Brighton and Hove Albion and Manchester on Sunday from Wembley Stadium. So that's what we got on offer. Brad, where's Chelsea on this list?
There's no pain this weekend.
You guys just taking the weekend off?
Yeah, there's no pain this weekend. I love it.
Is old Toddy Boy going to take everybody to Disney World?
Disneyland.
It's Pride night.
At Disneyland or Disney World?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Florida, whichever one is in Florida. I don't know which one's in Florida.
Disney World's in Florida.
Disney World.
Yeah, Disneyland's in California. We'll go to Disneyland and then maybe see like a Dodgers game or something.
Oh yeah, because he's in California.
Oh, he can get them tickets to. Okay.
Tickets.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
If Christian Pulisic can show all of his buddies Chipotle.
Yeah.
He's on he gets the free burritos because he's on the commercials.
Oh.
Yeah,
Brad, can you imagine the trajectory of Chelsea if Christian Pulisic had shown Eden Hazard Chipotle burritos instead of burgers?
Bro, he may have never left. Like, could you imagine how good Real Madrid would be right now if that had happened?
Like, instead of burgers, just Chipotle burritos. Yeah.
I'm fairly certain he'd still be 20 stone over where he should be. Like, Chipotle ain't that healthy for you, homie.
It's better than a burger.
A lot of carbohydrates, homie.
I don't know.
Yeah, you should. You
Well,
should
you get the brown rice and the
But
veggies.
yeah,
Like you can make it
it
healthy.
depends on
Oh,
the
yeah,
rice
just
situation. Yeah,
slather some sour cream on that, right? Throw some
Well, I
humps
do
of cheese.
because I'm fat.
Yeah.
But like you got choices in that line.
Oh, all right. And we've gone off the rails once again. All right. So let's quickly get out of the way.
quickly.
Quickly get out of the way. We got first versus 20th kicking off the weekend. Someone explain to me how Arsenal's going to blow it here.
You're going to score 2 quick goals and then give up the game, and Southampton's going to score 2 goals.
All right. Sounds good.
Southampton's going to sit back in the box. They're going to play 9 defenders, 1 striker.
They're gonna do the Zava strategy for all of our Ted Lasso fans.
Graham Xhaka is going to headbutt somebody.
Okay.
Get sent off.
That hasn't happened in a while.
Still gonna pound the goal with a man down, and they're gonna concede a counterattack goal when they're tired in the 85th minute.
I would have preferred this story if all those things still happened. Maybe not the Granit Xhaka red card because then he'd be suspended for a while. Maybe it's a dubious red card. It's an unfair red card. He gets sent off, and then the ban gets rescinded. How about we'll swap the headbutt from that to a fake red card that gets rescinded, so he's not suspended. But then
it could just be a second yellow.
And then in the 92nd minute, Aaron Ramsdale scores a header. That's the timeline I'm here for.
So he pulls an Allison.
Yeah, exactly. That's the timeline I'm here for. If Arsenal don't win this game, you guys are going to have to figure out how to record the podcast without me next week.
Pain will be too much.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Look, I might be able to feel fantastic going into next week's pod.
Yeah.
We're gonna switch it up.
So, what about of these Premier League matches, the biggest one is the Newcastle Spurs match. Yeah.
Well, the rest of them you didn't mention. Fulham leads Saturday, Brentford Villa, Palace Everton.
Time out. I said all those games.
You did not.
I went through the whole list.
No, we got sidetracked. From
Leicester Wolves, Liverpool Forest, right. Bournemouth West Ham.
Y'all can go back and rewatch the podcast. I said all of those things.
Just want to make sure everybody knows the rundown completely.
I said all those things already. You guys are sleepy. That's what's going on.
All right, so
I thought you started with 1 versus 20 Arsenal Southampton, and then we just jumped into.
Boom! I thought 3 of us told you that.
Time out. We've been recording this podcast for almost 8 minutes.
Am I a moron? All right, maybe I'm a moron.
And we had 2
It is late at night. Maybe I'm an idiot.
No. Brad, how did we get to the Chelsea tangent? I asked you, oh, Brad, where's Chelsea on this list? And you're like, oh, we have the weekend off. And I said, oh, are they going?
Newcastle Spurs.
Run the tape. All right. Yes, Newcastle Spurs. St. James's Park. Newcastle coming off of the 3-0 drubbing against Aston Villa. What, Brad?
Isn't it United Spurs?
Yeah, that was just too.
Are we dropping that?
That was too difficult, man.
All right. So we're dropping it. So it's back to Newcastle. Okay,
Newcastle.
Cool. I'll flip my. Yeah, I'm with you now.
Yeah, it was too difficult. All right, St. James's Park. So Newcastle coming off of the 3-0 loss to Aston Villa. Spurs coming off of the 3-2 loss against Bournemouth. In the battle for fourth, both these teams need a victory. Spurs significantly more so than Newcastle because they've played a game more and they are 3 points behind them. What say you, Sean?
What concerns me is that Tottenham of recent memory don't have the ability to just, all right, we need to win this game and just go do it. And as I described the past 2 out of the last 3 weeks in our group text, we have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. We have found a way to lose a game that we have no business losing. And nothing about this team tells me that that's going to change against Newcastle.
So from the Wednesday pod, when I asked you Newcastle Spurs, you thought about it for 48 hours because you said Spurs are going 7th, which means you probably had them losing this game, or you were just being pessimistic Spurs fan. So, what's your score?
2-1, Newcastle.
Jimmy, as our guest of honor.
We're typing this down. We're writing this one down.
This is going in. This is.
Then you should be typing, Brad.
Well, I'm talking, so James can type this time. We can switch roles.
Okay, I can type. All right, I can type.
Jimmy.
3-0 Newcastle.
Wow. Smash.
Wow, Jimmy.
All right, hold on.
Dang.
Jimmy has
that's disrespectful.
3-0.
3-0. Yep, 3-0.
Does that mean I'm
Well,
next?
When
Yeah,
your center
you are
backs,
next.
when your center backs just like to take naps for most of the game, Sean, I just don't
Just
see how
one.
you're gonna.
What is it?
Just
What do
one.
I think?
Botman has been a beast. Shar just
he's
played
talking about
like
ours.
Garbo. Oh. Yeah, my bad. Yeah,
Talking
Dyer
about
sleeps.
Newcastle.
I'm taking
Dyer sleeps.
I'm taking 3-2 Newcastle.
Ooh, another Bournemouth, like a Bournemouth type win when they win it in the 95th minute.
Something like that.
Okay.
And Brad?
I think Sean's correct. It's 2-1.
All right.
I think we saw the worst of Newcastle that we'll see. I think you'll have a big bounce back game because I think Newcastle does have it in them with Eddie Howe at the helm to flip that switch and say we gotta go win this game. We're gonna go win this game.
So
Jimmy win this game.
Jimmy and Sean, would you guys agree that if it ends 2-1, Sean is the only one that gets credit for that suggestion because Brad just copied him?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
It was my prediction
Yeah.
beforehand. That's fine. I hosted
this
it. That's
game-
okay.
This game kind of hurts me a little bit too because, I think I've talked to you guys about this before. I generally like London clubs a lot. I've historically kind of preferred Spurs, and they've been disappointing a bit this year.
a bit.
So-
Ooh.
Yeah, but like I don't know if Sean. I don't think we've ever talked about this, but I see. So I'm a huge Cubs fan, and I think there's a lot of kind of weird parallels between the Cubs and Tottenham, is in the fact that I think they're both could be considered, as the Cubs are, the lovable losers.
Yeah.
Dang.
A lot of people like Spurs have a very big fan base,
Well,
but they historically kind of suck.
I think that's true when Spurs were playing good football, and over the past 5 years, their football has been dreadful. So like
It is, but still, people still support them. I still run into Spurs fans all over the place.
I see them occasionally. But I think the lovable loser aspect, like they were significantly more enjoyable from a neutral perspective when they were playing attractive football. Is I guess my argument.
Yeah,
They haven't
that's fair.
they haven't always been a pragmatic defensive minded team. That's the last 5 years.
But they
that's
still
really
have they still have several players, two at least players that are very easy to root for and
True.
are very exciting.
I mean, except for Harry Kane because he's trying to break people's necks. And he's a dirty
Some
player.
people, this is America. People love that stuff.
Look at Sean getting all salty. We haven't had this conversation.
Harry Kane doesn't break necks.
Tries to.
Tries to. Hasn't yet.
He doesn't do that.
Tries to. Actually, hasn't in a while.
Yeah, he hasn't done it this year. He did it last year.
That's because he's playing a false 10.
Oh, that's terrible. Other interesting matches. We're gonna finish the Premier League conversation about Liverpool Forest, but I'm kind of intrigued by both the Leicester Wolves match and the Crystal Palace Everton match. Crystal Palace have been flying. Wolves, I think they have 2 victories in a row now. And Leicester. So if we just look at the Wolves Leicester situation, Leicester are a dumpster fire. Right? Like they are
big time.
Like there's something amiss there. And I think a couple weeks ago I was very willing to say I think that they'll find their way out of it because they've got good players. They're they're a fairly well established team in the Premier League. They won the Premier League very recently. They won an FA Cup very recently. I was pretty confident on Leicester's ability to get themselves out of this quagmire that they find themselves in. I'm starting to worry about them. Like I think Southampton's dead, but I'm really starting to worry about Leicester at this point.
Yeah,
It's not looking good.
it is not. But their two best players are out of contract in a month and a half.
Yes, like they don't
So
care.
like, why are they trying? They're just trying to not get hurt so they can get
Paid.
paid. I mean, Harvey
'Cause
Barnes
they'll
probably goes with them.
they'll get picked up by another Premier League club. It's just their problem is they need to play well enough to get picked up by a top half team.
Yeah.
Madison's
You-
going. Madison and Tielemans should both be picked up by a top half team.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if they play garbage for the next.
But are they getting picked
9
up by?
weeks.
But are they getting picked up by a Big Six team?
Or they just,
Uh,
I mean, realistically, they both go to Villa and play.
I don't think so.
I
think Madison goes. I think Tielemans might not. I think Madison still is a top 6 team as a free.
I think,
yeah.
I think Rice probably gets sold by Villa, and that's a easy
Rice is
Tielemans.
West Ham.
West Ham.
Rice
Yeah,
is being sold by West Ham. That's been a thing that West Ham is selling Rice this year. So, but Tielemans sliding into that spot is what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, that's an easy
Yep.
like for like
Yeah, that's
on
good.
West
That's
Ham.
Sure, but again, that's a relegation fighting team, maybe a top half
Yeah, but
fighting team.
West Ham's not going down though.
Not this year, but when they sell Declan Rice.
And then they replace it with Tielemans like for like. There's extremely similar players.
But that's a downgrade, right?
West Ham.
It
West Ham
is.
is just West Ham has drastically underperformed this year, and they
Agreed.
should
Yes.
be much better
Agreed.
than they are.
Agreed.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
mean, Antonio has been underperforming, and it's just he's a good player too.
Paqueta's underperforming.
They'll ha-
I think they'll be top half next year.
They'll have a new manager next year. Jesse Marsh will get them top half, I think. But I am legitimately concerned. I agree with you that Leicester, that Tielemans and Madison. I think Madison lands higher than Tielemans. I agree.
Yes.
I think Madison could end up at a Liverpool. They're short on midfielders. He's creative. He's fairly
I
young.
thought the same.
I can
And
see,
Liverpool
they don't get
on a
Mount,
free
yes.
is a easy. That's a John Henry move all day.
the problem is as Tielemans is probably more the profile that they desperately need in midfield, like a workhorse, box to box midfielder. But he is significantly worse than Madison. And there's some maybe I don't know. He seems like he's a little bit over. He seems like he's a little bit heavy right now. And I worry about him in a really high pressing team, whether or not he's going to succeed long term there. I think Tielemans or Madison. I think Newcastle's also a very realistic destination for both of them.
Newcastle.
Liverpool's an option. I don't see City picking either one of them up. Arsenal have been linked to Tielemans for years at this point, and so we needed a midfielder in January. And if we really, really needed a midfielder, why didn't we just sign him? We could have signed him for cheap, and we didn't. So I think that's pretty telling. Chelsea need good midfielders, but you guys have 1,000 players, so
You get 1,000 midfielders. What's Vardy's contract situation?
Old AF.
I don't know. He's 39
The thing about Vardy is, I think if Leicester goes down and he wants to keep playing, I think he continues to play.
He's got to stay with them.
I don't
think anyone takes him.
Well, not even anyone takes him. It's a statue defining moment, right? Like, he stays, he brings it back up, he gets himself a statue. I mean, he might get a statue regardless, but like Leicester is kind of his club now.
He had his moment to leave when Arsene Wenger almost took him to be back up at Arsenal, and he decided to stay at Leicester.
Yeah.
So like he had his moment, so he's staying. That's his lady. He's dancing all the way.
There's a lot of interesting. There's a lot of interesting relegation stuff this week.
Oh yeah,
Palace,
absolutely.
Everton's big. Wolves, Leicester, big. I mean, Forest,
Bournemouth, West Ham.
I mean, that's not a gimme.
Bournemouth, West Ham.
West Ham is interesting. If West Ham loses, that hurts a ton.
Well, it's interesting because if results, if who is in 18th right now? Not even Forest. So if Forest were to win their game against whoever they're playing, I'm not
United.
Not sure off the top of my head.
Forest is playing Liverpool.
And then if West Ham were to beat Bournemouth or something like that, like there's worlds that exist where West Ham and Bournemouth get pulled back down. I think it's more likely that Bournemouth beat West Ham this weekend and that West Ham find themselves still stuck in the mud a little bit here. Especially if Forest picks up points, if Everton pick up points. Because I mean, Crystal Palace are probably safe. They're on 36 points at this point, I think. And so I could see them. Crystal Palace is traditionally that team that like gets to safety and then just vibes. And if they're in vibe mode right now and Sean Dyche gets a result there, like West Ham could get pulled right back in really quickly. So
yeah, as soon as the players are like, well, wait, do we want to play for David Moyes? Because he was on a super short leash.
I mean, the thing is, I think David Moyes goes this summer anyway. And we've talked about this. I think his time at West Ham is over.
Yeah,
but he is the best person to keep them in the Premier League right now.
I have a little bit of an interesting hot take on the relegation battle.
All right,
let's hear it.
So
we love hot takes.
I am a semi-Everton fan right now.
Boo.
Okay. Tell us more.
So I do not want them to be relegated.
No.
Is this because you want the Merseyside derby to be a thing?
Yes. So I enjoy that matchup and watching it twice a year. It's like very important to me, and we often win it, which is good. But it's a big rivalry, and like being a sports guy in general, like those rivalry games are just more fun than a lot of the other games. In Germany, last year, Schalke had been relegated, and so that derby between Schalke and Dortmund didn't happen for a year, and that stunk.
Yeah.
It was just not as fun of a season because that matchup didn't exist. So if I could allow Everton to finish 17th every year, I would take it.
So I've seen that argument, and that I've seen people espouse that belief, and I don't have an issue with it per se. I think about myself as an Arsenal fan, but as a non-native North London Arsenal fan, and I think about the main rivals to Arsenal, the teams that I really dislike. And Tottenham, while they're on that list, they're not very high on that list. My hierarchy for teams that I hate goes Chelsea, United, then maybe Tottenham at that point. But I think it's all because I'm not a North London born and bred Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if you were affected by that at all as a Liverpool fan.
No,
Obviously not from
on the flip side, mine is Arsenal, City, United.
Well, and I think it's because
everybody is United.
I think as a Tottenham fan, because Arsenal have, I think it's more important for Tottenham fans to hate Arsenal than it is for Arsenal fans to hate Tottenham.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We must root against you because you were better. You were better.
We still are.
I mean, United is my most hated team. Everton is right below them.
Got it.
Schalke might be slightly above Everton.
Okay.
and honestly, I think Bayern Munich, as much as I also don't like them, I think they're below Everton. Sevilla might be above.
I can echo that sentiment with one of the guys that hangs out with the Richmond Arsenal group. He just roots for Arsenal just because his friends do, but he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. And when they got relegated, from the championship, he was robbed of the ability to play Sheffield United twice a year. And he said that was the most painful part about it because they got relegated in the same year that Sheffield got relegated. Yeah. So they would have got their derby that they wanted, but he didn't.
I'm fairly certain we've talked about this in the past, but aren't Wednesday, like, they're in the bottom of League One, aren't they? Aren't they about to get relegated? I thought.
No, they're in League One.
Yeah, no, but aren't they?
Oh,
Are
are
they
they?
safe in League One? I was worried that they were going to get relegated from League One. Anyway, you can pull that up real quick. All right, so Jimmy, Liverpool Forest, big victory against Leeds on Monday. Fast forward to
Yeah.
Saturday. Do you feel confident in this match? Do you feel like
I don't know
Liverpool
that
are
I
going to?
don't feel super confident. I think we drew Forest earlier in the season, like 2-2.
Sounds right.
Didn't play well.
Yeah.
Um, I- if, I can't remember the 9-0 like Bournemouth game that well, but we beat United 7-0, and then basically fall apart for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that we've just had this great game. We're gonna go into a team in the relegation zone. We do every time. Like we beat a City, we beat a United, we beat a Chelsea, and we go play a relegation team and lose 3-0. It's kind of like the Liverpool story a little bit. So I'm actually kind of worried about this game. Now,
Okay.
ultimately at this point, I don't even care.
Doesn't matter.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch the game. I mean, uh, most likely, at least I'll most likely watch the game. We have a soccer tournament this weekend, so
Mm.
I'll be more focused on that a little bit. So, and hate to say this, but go United. That's our club, United
Wow.
Soccer Club.
Can you please? How do we get a name change done?
Yeah, I wish. What's funny is it's United Soccer Club, but they're city colors.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Interesting.
weird. That's weird. Are you gonna play? Do you think you start playing the kids soon? Or I guess you guys still can get for it. So no.
Do they have any? I mean, does Liverpool have anyone healthy? Like that's the problem. Is like
I don't know.
they're pretty limited on
No.
who they can play.
I mean, the best thing about the thing to look forward to in this game is seeing Trent play in the midfield again, because I'm assuming they'll do that again. Seeing if Luis Diaz gets 30 minutes or more.
Yeah.
So these are the things as a Liverpool fan I think you have to look forward to. You see some of these guys coming back healthy. Does Thiago get to play some minutes? Does Curtis Jones continue to play? Does Harvey Elliott play a little bit because he hasn't played in a little while? Do you finally get to see like Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz maybe for an extended period of time? Jota just scored a couple of goals. Does that click him back into shape? I mean, there's a good chance maybe some things clicked, some confidence things in the last game. I don't know. I'm
I like
nervous, but you never can still win. We're at Anfield. As much as
sure.
Sean doesn't think home field advantage matters, but you know, the
He's admitted that he's gone back on that a little bit.
yeah.
But
But I mean, we generally play well at home. Um, but we're beatable at home. I mean, that's evident from the last few years or whatever. But I don't know. I hope we win.
I wish that was evident 2 weeks ago. Let's quickly turn our attention to the FA Cup. We've got Manchester City and Sheffield United, and then Brighton and Hove Albion and Manchester United on Sunday. So I think we can safely say that we're all rooting for a 3-3 draw, and it goes to 120 minutes extra time, full 120-minute extra time. It's no goals in extra time, and then Manchester City wins 11-12 on penalties. It's physically and emotionally exhausting, and they're playing back from London, breaks down, and they have to spend the night in Paris.
Now Sheffield 100% wins. They have to win. I'm a huge Sheffield United fan.
Oh, really?
The Blades?
Do tell.
What?
Do
The
tell.
Blades? Why?
How did you find? Yeah.
I recently found out this kid Oscar on Jack's soccer team. His dad played for Sheffield in the Premier League in the early 2000s.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Does he subscribe to the podcast? Hello, new
I don't
friend.
think so, but he is
Can you be plugging it?
He's the player manager of the new MLS Next club out of Nashville that's in Huntsville here. He's the players coach for the Huntsville City Football Club.
Interesting. That's cool.
Wow, that's dope.
That's
but
cool.
Yeah, you should totally plug the pod, and
Don't.
we can get some MLS Next updates. I'll do it. The Crown is doing awesome, but Charlotte FC is trash, so we can do some MLS Next updates.
So
I'm looking to go forward to go see a game, whatever. I've never talked to the guy, but his son's okay. He's real passive, which is really interesting.
I'll be honest with you, Jimmy. Obviously, I'm rooting for Sheffield United.
Yeah.
I think we
I
all
can't
are.
root for any Manchester team here.
Yeah, we're hoping for a Sheffield United, Brighton, and Hove Albion final.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Like that would be the best.
Yes.
And honestly, I would love it if a non-Premier League team won this thing.
It would be cool.
If Liverpool's not in it, that's always what I root for.
Well, the last time that happened was Swansea, right? Roberto.
No, I think they won it
No.
as a Premier League team, but they
Yeah.
got relegated.
Oh.
What you're talking
Yeah.
about is,
But they got
and,
relegated.
and that
Okay.
might have been Watford.
Watford. It was Watford that won it, and
Watford.
they got
Watford.
relegated.
Yeah.
So they played European football as a championship club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I okay, I'm down with that. I mean, I'm cool with Sheffield United winning it. The only team I don't care about, I'm no Manchester United.
Wait, Sean, you should be cheering for Sheffield United to win
Why?
because FA Cup gets the Conference League spot. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
and so if
So you
Sheffield,
finish 7th, like you predicted, Sheffield United would take your Conference League away from you.
No, I thought.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
thought.
he's wrong.
Oh,
The
Is it
it's-
the Europa League?
FA gets the
Is it?
Europa.
correct, Sean. Yeah, so
Is it?
the League Cup
It's
winner
the League Cup gets
League
winner
Cup.
gets yeah.
gets Europa
Yeah.
League. But so
Or gets conference.
what would happen
yeah.
is Sheffield United would take a Europa League spot in theory, and then
Conference.
6th or 5th
Bit of a bump down.
fifth would take Europa League, and then 6th would take conference.
Yeah.
So the essentially the outcome is the
Okay.
same for
Sorry,
Spurs,
that was my fault.
but
Yep.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool for me and Jimmy. If we're not gonna be in Champions League, then you might as well not stick us playing ball in Crete in October.
I'm okay. I think I'm okay with the Europa League and the Conference League. I would the problem. My problem is that I don't think I'm gonna watch. I'm probably not gonna watch those games because
No.
But
you might in the knockout stages.
in the knockout stages probably, and realistically, I probably watch them if I can. But I see the Conference League and even in some semblance the Europa League a really good opportunity to develop younger players.
Yeah.
So like those
Yeah.
are games where we participate in. We bring in youngsters. We allow because we know that Liverpool's going to have like 20 injuries throughout the whole season. It allows a player that's coming off an injury to get 30 minutes in probably a not too hardcore game. It is what it is.
And the
Maybe
quarterfinals, there are teams I've heard, like Florentino, we've heard of. Anderlecht, we've heard of. West Ham and Ghent, we've heard of. Nice, we've heard of.
The problem is that with all these UEFA competitions, you got the drop down, you got the parachute for third
Yes.
place in the groups. What I would say about the Europa League, which is different than the Europa Conference League, is that the Conference League doesn't get you into the Champions League, but the Europa League does get you into the Champions League.
Yeah.
So it's more imperative to play a strong squad in the in the Europa League with the hopes of getting Champions League football. I think that's the main
But
difference
I think
between
that
the two.
doesn't really exist until you get into
Out the
the
group
knockout
stage.
stages.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I generally agree because you should be able to walk your group stage with a mixture of first team players and a couple academy players.
Yeah.
I think my problem for me is when Tottenham were in the Conference League, we played pedestrian, and Jose was playing the starting 11, and that was ridiculous for me.
Well, that's what a manager like Jose and Conte do. They find their 11 and they stick with it.
It's ridiculous. Like
Why?
rest them.
No. Jose was trying to win a trophy. He don't
I
care
don't
what the
give-
trophy was.
I thought it was Conte.
But these players don't care.
Yeah, it wasn't
Conte was worse. Conte played the same 11 every.
It was Conte.
But you kind of illustrated the problem, Sean. The players don't care.
They don't care about the Conference League.
Why? They
But
should.
Nobody. I don't.
It's a possible trophy to win, and if
Who
you can't
cares?
care about every game you play, then this may not be the passionate players you want to carry you through the league. Because if they can't find the passion through any competition, they're not going to really find that full passion in the league.
I mean, you're right. I played a family kickball game with Brittany's family,
It's
and
coming
I was
back again.
I was jiving for balls. I play 100. I don't have a percentage meter. Either I'm playing 100% or I'm just teaching people.
We have like a parent-daughter scrimmage at the end of every one of my daughter's season, and
Oh,
we
I'm.
hammer them.
Oh yeah.
So we did
Hammer.
this. We did this in my son's at the end of my son's soccer season in the fall, and the problem was is like it was their soccer games at their level were 5-on-5, right? That was who was on or 4-on-4. It was 4-on-4 at this point, and then we had like 15 parents versus 9 kids all at once,
Subs. Gotta run
and
subs.
it was unorganized, and half of the adults were in tennis shoes, and the kids were just like running up and like punching their parents, and it was such a cluster. It was Pee Wee soccer to a T. But and no one would play 1-2s with me. I was trying to send people on runs and things. It just wasn't working out for me. Okay, so you've heard it here first. Sheffield United to win the FA Cup. Let's go.
Let's go.
Come on,
Let's
you
go.
Sheffield
Blades.
Uniteders. I'm not gonna pretend like I know what their mascot is. But Sean
was
just
telling you
looked.
what the
Sean
mascot
just
was.
looked
The
it up
swords.
5 minutes before we started the
The swords.
podcast.
No, I know that one.
No, it's
He-
the swords, the crossing.
Yeah, the cross.
Y'all just looked it up.
Blades.
All
we
right.
No, we did not.
I can actually
I'm-
picture
I'm-
the emblem.
Yeah,
as
I'm
I
looking at
can.
I'm looking at the League One table.
Yeah, but do they call themselves the Blades?
The Blades.
That's the part I'm skeptical of.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'll
I have
Google it
no
real
idea.
quick while you get us out of
Anyway,
here.
all right,
Alright.
let's
Get us out of here while you
yeah.
look. we look this
So
shit.
while Sean and Brad furiously type
Blades.
away and make things up, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate that you guys have been checking out the podcast this week. If you're still listening and you're skeptical, I think you should definitely subscribe and ring the sub notification bell to see what kind of tangents we get off on next week. As always, Jimmy, we really, really appreciate that you joined us this week. It was a lot of
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
I'm happy to release you back to your family.
Everybody's asleep.
See if they still exist. I know we've had you locked up in your room for quite a long time. So good luck reintegrating and normalizing again with them.
I appreciate it. Good.
Yeah, so-
Get into some fresh air.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again. Maybe what we can do over the summer is just have like the massive podcast and just have everybody all at once.
I'm in. But
And nobody can speak at one time. And Brad, I'm going to continue to speak so that you cannot speak. Hit us up on Twitter. That guy is
I'll
at
go right over you.
KSBradG.
I'll go right
I'll
over
just
you.
hit the stop
nickname
record
of the
button.
Blades is gleaned from the famous and bespoken cutlery and knife industry that Sheffield is famed for, which thrived in the very shadow of our famous home, Bramall Lane. That's from the Sheffield United website. So their nickname is the Blades.
Sounds like Brad
And
just
you can find that
typed
at
that up.
KSBradG.
Sounds like Brad just typed that up and came up with it.
Edited the Wikipedia page.
Whiteheart _ Sean. Brad doesn't know how to do that. At Team
No.
Dugan, at James Tiffany, collectively at Redcard _radio. And Jimmy would be remiss if I didn't tell you to join us on Discord so that you can at him on Discord, at Jimmy on Discord. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back next week with a full slate of episodes as well. And until that time, thank you so much.